Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on the floor and talk about books, all romance and all fantasy. So if that interests you, please stick around and like and subscribe. And today we are going to do a thrift book haul. As you can see, I have about 40 plus books here. I think it's like 45 to be exact. I'm not exactly sure. And I basically got all of these at library book sales. So there's this thing called, Friends of the Library, and I was able to get quite a good deals on those a couple weeks ago. And a lot of them were actually having sales as well. So even with their normal prices, some libraries is like up to $3 a book now for a hardcover, and some were 25 cents. So, or like a lot of the historical romance ones are like $5 for $2. So yeah, we'll get started and let me get some of these. Goodness gracious. None pile. Oh man. Oh, this really sucks. Okay, so, well, in no particular order. So we have, yes, there we go. Okay, so a new to me author is Tessa Dare. I think I read her books last year. I read 3 or 4 of her books so far. I think her first novel has been her very first published novel has been my favorite. So this one is Tessa Dare, 3 Nights with a Scoundrel. A lot of these I have no idea what they're about, to be honest. But because they're historical romances and it's from an author that I already like, I kind of just, it's like an auto buy already. And I know I'm going to get to them anyway, because if you see here, these are all the books, historical romance ones I have not read. And these are ones I have read, so either the past couple of years and this past year. So yeah, I'm really excited to look into this one. Looks like a pining, a little bit of suspense, so it's kind of interesting. So yeah, and it's practically brand new condition, so very brand new. It's not my favorite kind of cover. I don't know, I like persons on my cover, especially for historical romances, but this whole like theme ever since they released the Bridgerton ones is not my favorite. Give me the clenched covers any day. Give me a setback with the clenched cover. I'm like, it's a bygone era apparently. Anywho, the next ones I have some Julie Garwood here, which has been a very, very difficult thing to find. I remember a lot of these authors, Joanna Lindsay and Julie Garwood, Louisa James, I read them several years ago, and I just don't remember, and of course I got them at the library, so I couldn't afford, get my own books by then, college student, so a lot of these were really cool finds to find, because these are obviously very popular and grabbed up really quickly. So I have The Bride, so I'm really looking forward to, Highlander romance, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. And there's one called The Rebellious Desire. And those are the only 2 that I've been able to find. It's like the first Julie Garwood I've been able to find at a thrift bookstore for a library. Next I have some Jude Devereux's, quite several. One of my all-time like time travel romances before Outlander was even popular. It's actually Remembrance, which is actually, let me grab it here. So it's actually Remembrance, so it's this one. One of my favorite time travel ones. A bit rushed in the end, so it's kind of disappointing, but absolute favorite time travel one that I've ever read. So a lot of these, I think one of these is actually a duplicate, I'm not sure, but Jude Devereux, I'll obviously pick that up. So we have The Conquest here. I'm trying to read on here too if it tells me. But yes, a lot of these here. I've heard of this before. It's called the Black Lion. One of her very earlier ones, I believe. This might be medieval. I may be wrong, but it sounds really, really interesting. So yeah, it says the magnificent love story of a fearless lord and the woman who tamed him. So I mean, these all sound so good. And then this is Sweetbriar, Frederick Devereaux. This is looks like a Western romance. And then The Velvet Promise, which is a very, very old copy here. I don't even know. I think this one's just the 11th edition. Let me know if I'm wrong. I believe it just tells me that it's the 11th edition. It's not a first edition, but if you know if I'm wrong, I believe that's one. Let me know in the comments. I have no idea. But I think it's really cool when you're able to find like a first edition. So yeah, this was published in 1981. At least that book, not necessarily that edition, but. And then The Taming. Looks like another knight romance. It says her love was too precious to squander, too passionate to resist. Very interesting. So, I'm really excited to read those. Alright, so now I have an Olivia Drake. I think I did read one previously of Olivia Drake. Yeah, I recently just read The Duke I Once Knew, which is like a second chance romance, which was really very good book there. This one is like practically new condition as well. The spine is broken a little bit, but that's just fine. So it's a Duke romance. He's a scoundrel. So yeah, I don't know. He said she's trying to open up a school and reunite an orphan. So it sounds very interesting. So yeah, sorry, you're distracted really easily. Alright, Amelia Gray. This is a newer author to me. I believe I've only read. I always have to look at my shelves. No, I haven't. No, I think I have one in here on my one. Haven't read one yet. So, this is also a newer, nicer copy as well. Looks like she's a widow. There's an Earl, Zane the Earl. This is Brenna Feld and Zane the Earl of Black Knight. Looks like he's going to be a reformed rake. So very, very interesting. And then I have another novel from this author. I haven't read any of hers yet, but she's definitely one I want to get to. This is Mary Balogh, Someone to Honor. This is between Abigail Westcott and Gilbert Bennington. He's a lieutenant colonel. The wars with Napoleon, so this is really interesting time period to read about. So yeah. And then we have a fantasy romance mass paperback. This is actually I think Peace Love Book. She had a author interview on her channel, and my books just fell down. That's okay. It's fantasy romance. I'm really looking forward to it. I do have, I think, the first one. I think this is the third one in the novel, and I did see the new copies that they just reissued, and I really want the paperback. It's a normal size paperback, and it looks gorgeous. So this is part of the Kingmaker Chronicles, and it sounds really, really interesting. Heard a lot about it, a lot of hype about it from other booktubers. Yeah, A Promise of Fire is the first one, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So thanks for reading these. They're here. Next pile of historical mass paperbacks. everywhere. So we're good. So lucky. Okay. So one I have here is I don't think I've read anything by Sophie Jordan yet either. So she's another newer author, historical romance author that I haven't read. This is Sophie Jordan's Surrender to Me. Oh my gosh, it's like gorgeous. I don't think any of these have had like a paperback setback yet, so unfortunately. So yeah, none of these have setbacks yet. But this cover is gorgeous. I love that purple. Lady Astrid and Griffin Shaw. It's in the Highlands. I'm gonna guess this is probably a made man. Not exactly sure, but yeah, a lot of these are no idea facts. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have Lisa Kleypas. I have a couple of those. She's obviously one of the OGs and one of my favorite authors. This one is Midnight Angel here, and it has a lovely setback here. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. And this is actually in relatively good condition too as well, which is actually great. Then I've heard of this one before. Typically this is the one, the cover is in, she's in a red dress right on the bottom of the stairs with her back turned. It's really gorgeous. It's Dreaming of You. I know this is like Peace Love Books favorite, one of her favorites of Lisa Kleypas, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And it looks like there's a gambling house in there, so I'm always there. There's a gambling house, some sort of like clubhouse that the like hero owns. I'm always there. So awesome. So yeah, this is Derek Craven and Sarah Fielding. So this is really awesome. Sounds like it's a he's a gambler and she's an innocent, and I think this is probably one of those grumpy sunshine romances. I may be totally wrong, by the way. Alright, so I have two here by Stephanie Lawrence. This is also really good condition. Viscount Breckenridge to the Rescue. So there is no step back here, but so we have Heather Sinster and Viscount Breckenridge. Sounds like a kidnapping romance, so that sounds really interesting. Really, really interesting. So great. And then again, another one, really nice condition. I think this is actually pretty brand new. Let me double check. 2014, that's not really bad condition at all. So this is Loving Rose. This is part of the redemption of Malcolm Sinclair. Don't know anything about this one. We have, it says Malcolm Sinclair is erasing the notorious man he once was. He's reinventing himself as Thomas Glendower. That sounds really interesting. He strives to make amends for his past. That's like stolen identity kind of thing. That's really cool. Yeah, he never imagines penance might come via secretive lady he discovers living in his secluded manor. Oh, that's really cool. I just love these like kind of bonkers plot and things like that, but in these historical romances, it's really, really fun. Alright, now I have a Johanna Lindsay, Make Me Love You. I don't think this is one I've read of hers. If I have, I don't remember. But yeah, sounds really good. I don't remember anything about this one. It's really sad though. It was kind of like one of the papers are about out. That's not cool. Then we have a Glorious Angel. This really annoys me when it gives you like a false setback. So if you buy this online thinking that, oh, that comes with a step back in the back of it, it's not a cool thing at all. This sounds like a Southern romance. I may be wrong. But sounds cool. People saying sounds interesting. I guess that's my default. Sarah, I have a Sarah McLean here. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I hear a lot of hype from other booktubers, especially I think I know Peace Love Books likes her. I think Books with Samantha perhaps as well, but she's definitely one I'm interested in, and her covers look really cool too as well. This one is 11 Scandals to Start to Win a Duke's Heart. That is really, they're here. Said Simon Pearson, he's a duke. And Juliana, he discovers her hiding in his carriage late one evening. So, really, really cool. Oh, okay, this sounds like Lessons in Seduction. It says, when he discovers Juliana hiding in his carriage late one evening, risking everything he holds dear, he swears to teach the reckless beauty a lesson in propriety. Propriety? I don't know. Why does it sound weird? Propriety? I must be way too long on that. Anyway, she has other plans, however. She wants 2 weeks to prove that even an unflappable duke is not above passion. Really cool. Alright, next one. Kathy Maxwell. I have a few of hers that I picked up at a bookstore before. I'm really looking forward to picking up a book from her and reading this author. It's new to me. This one is The Duke That I Marry. It's still the same kind of cover. It's not my favorite cover that I see here, but it's, you know, the people, I don't know what you call that kind of cover, but that's just not my favorite kind of cover. Then I have some Sophie Nash. I have another one or two above on my shelf there. She's also another one that I'm looking forward to. I never read by a new to me author. This is Sophia Nash, The Kiss. No setbacks. A Dangerous Beauty, and Love with the Perfect Scoundrel. Love this one. Looks like this. She was twice jilted. Yeah, secrets here. Yeah, Sophia Nash. And then I have a Mary Jo Putney. I don't think I have any of hers either. This is actually a really nice cover here. Again, the false step back thing, not my favorite. This one is called No Longer a Gentleman. This is from the Lost Lords series. I'm sure these are probably standalone in a series. I don't think you have to read those in order. Not exactly sure. But this is part of the Napoleon Revolution time period, so it's kind of interesting. It's cool. Look forward to reading that one. Next I have one of my all-time favorite authors. The Bridgerton series was my absolute favorite way before it got hyped up and popular with these new TV shows, which I actually love, and I think they stand on their own as, even without the novels, as a great great series to watch. And I love that we're getting historical romance, and they're again shining a light on romance, and a historical romance in particular. So this one is 10 Things I Love About You. So obviously it kind of sounds very similar to that movie, but really looking forward to this one. Sebastian Gray. So he's a rogue with a secret. 2, Annabelle Winslow's family voted her the Winslow most likely to speak her mind, and the Winslow most likely to fall asleep in church. Sebastian's uncle is the Earl of Newbury, and if he dies without siring an heir, Sebastian inherits everything. 4, Lord Newbury detests Sebastian and will stop at nothing to prevent this from happening. 5, Lord Newbury has decided that Annabelle is the answer to all of his problems. 6, Annabelle does not want to marry Lord Newbury, especially when she finds out he once romanced her grandmother. Okay. 7 is shocking. 8 is delicious, and 9 is downright wicked, all of which lead the way to 10, happily ever after. So that's really cool. Alright, and then I have another master paperback. This is from Kathleen E. Woodwis and Woodwis. New to me author as well. This is actually a really nice condition as well. This one's called The Wolf and the Dove. But yeah, this one looks like it's a medieval, I think it's medieval time period. So yeah, new to me author. I haven't read anything yet by her, and I'm looking forward to delving into one of those by her. And then I'm really excited about this one. I'm not gonna lie. These were a special find. So I love Johanna Lindsey, and as I told you before, I read so many of her books I don't remember the ones I read. However, I was able to find so many of these hardcover editions. Basically, when they were released. Let me find one and see. This one. I need to figure out when to find it. I can't. See, I don't know why this one doesn't say. Yeah, I need somebody to show me or tell me how I can figure out what edition these are. Anyway, this is in a really nice condition, a little older, but this is Tender Rebel. That clinch cover, obviously hardcover, no step back. Love Only Once, very popular. These I am going to treasure. These are a little dusty, a little old, but oh my gosh, it's just, I know, it's just, these are definitely, just as even, because you know, book collecting and book reading are two very opposite hobbies, but similar hobbies. So yes, definitely gonna treasure those. This one is Hearts Aflame. Then I have Silver Angel. Definitely for the time period. Defy Not the Heart. And Secret Fire. Gorgeous covers and editions. I'm so bored, and we'll treasure those. And then we have the rest of these are going to be fantasy, contemporary, and a couple young adults. So this is the contemporary romance. This one is Sophie Kinsella. I know she's a popular one here. I think I read one of hers. I can't remember what it was. Wasn't this one? This one is Can You Keep a Secret? I don't know if it's Apocalyptic is maybe one by her. I may be wrong. Probably wrong. It's my typical. But yeah, I don't typically read like rom-com romance, but I do enjoy it every once in a while, especially when it's written right. Sometimes there's too much lightness and not enough, just very surface level, not enough like deeper emotional, or if it can have banter, a little bit of angst, I'm there. And it can be done in rom-com. I have two books here by one of my favorite authors growing up, especially the Media series. This is Meg Cabot. This is The Boy Is Back and Queen of Babel in the Big City. I know I've read this before. I remember reading this before at the library and checking it out, but definitely one of my favorite authors. I like her Abandoned series, Media series, so she's a young adult. She is the author that wrote The Princess Diaries. I actually never read The Princess Diaries, but I did like the movie. I think after watching the movies, I was kind of like, I didn't need to read the book or the books, and at that time, it was just a little too young for me with those books. So yeah, look forward to those. And I was able to score a whole young adult fantasy trilogy at one of the libraries, so this was a really cool find. I've never heard of this before, and I'm looking forward to reading this, and I almost kind of want to read this and put this on my TBR for next month, at least the first one, so we'll see for This is August, so probably, hopefully, for September. Probably, hopefully, you know. This is called the Trilogy? Trial? Anyway, first book is Switched, second is Torn, and then third is Ascend. This is kind of like, you know, part of that whole hype, you know, of Faye. She's a changeling. She was switched at birth. Supposedly she's like, you know, chosen one kind of trope. But I think there's also a love triangle in here, and she does pick one based off what I could read from the synopses on the back. Love triangles aren't usually my thing, but if done right, it'd be good. So obviously I think we've all been traumatized by Twilight with a love triangle, so that's probably why. Anyway, putting it all out there. I love Twilight, but it had some problems, but it's okay. Maybe because sometimes I think hype kind of ruins books sometimes. Am I wrong in that assumption, that statement? I wonder if anybody else agrees with me. Let me know. Alright, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. It sounded really good. Young adult fantasy still has a soft spot for me. Sometimes it can feel a little too young reading, like the Cruel Prince series. I actually, reading it now, it's not for me, too surface level. But sometimes it can be done right and still hold up, so we'll see. And then here I got like a sci-fi, I want to say, kind of similar, you know, like the Hunger Games kind of thing. I want to say like a sci-fi apocalyptic story. Popular, it's well known, never read it before. I actually was able to get the second and the third book at a library before, and obviously been looking and waiting for the first one. So now I can put this in my jar now that I have the first one. And this is the Red Rising, so I have the first one. So I had the second, I think it's called Morning Star, I think it might be the third one. And Golden Sun might be the second one, I can't remember, but those are the other two. So the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, so really looking forward to this. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in my thing there. We'll raffle. Once a month I will put a raffle to make sure that I'm reading my physical TBR. Since, you know, I kind of did a lot of hauling at libraries this past year, so I have a lot of books to catch up on. Alright, so the last books here are some fantasy that I picked up. This one is actually the trilogy in one, so I haven't read anything by Brent Weeks, but I'm looking forward to, I want to read the Prism, I think it's the Prism series. I have like the fifth one in that one I found in a library, but I'm like, you know, problem with thrifting is you kind of also want to buy the first one or get the first one, so that's my character flaw, is I buy books that I never read the first one yet, so I feel like this should be at an AA meeting or something. So yes, my name is Crystal, and I buy thrift book hauls to books that I haven't even read the first one yet. Well, this is the Night Angel series. I know it's popular. Probably been published in the past 10 years when I wasn't reading, so you know, I just picked up a couple years ago. I picked up reading a couple years ago, so yeah, looking forward to reading this. It's kind of like a high fantasy novel, so I try to at least read 1 or 2 high fantasy novels a month. Sometimes it's hard because I'm a mood reader, and I typically like to lean towards romance, and if I do fantasy, more fantasy romance, so that's another character flaw. I also have this library binding cover edition. I never read this by her either. This is Samantha Shannon, The Bone Season. I've heard a lot of things about this around BookTube or whatever, so I'm looking forward to reading this. It seems like it's a sci-fi theme novel, so I'll look forward to that. I think the second one just released not so long ago. And another one I got is, I think it's like the second or the third. I really wanted, this has been on my TBR for a while. Obviously, again, haven't read the first one, but this was in such great condition for $2. I couldn't pass it up. So this is The Devil's Thief. This is like the Last Magician series. I know The Last Magician is like the first one, but Really interesting reading this one. This is by Lisa Maxwell. So I think it's like an urban fantasy magician story. I think held in New York. I may be wrong. I don't kind of heard a lot of hype, but yet not weirdly haven't heard anything about it. So, but you know. And then I've scored the last one here. I scored a lot of a whole other trilogy. These are library bindings as well. You know, the library bindings is like the plastic, you know, that the library wants for a certain condition, or, you know, whatever, they get new ones in, or I think so. Maybe is it when they've been read so many times or checked out? I'm not exactly sure what the policy is. I'm not a librarian, but if you are a librarian, let me know. Not comment. So anyway, I think this was published a few years ago. I think it might have been really, really popular. This is the Queen of the Tearling series by Erica Johansson. Another popular like Queen series. I want to say there's like two was like kind of similar, almost as Throne of Glass, like a secret queen raised as like a normal citizen. What's the word? Anyway, similar like chosen one trope, young adult, badass queen. I'm really looking forward to reading this. Don't know anything else other than that. So the Queen of the Tearling, the Invasion of the Tearling, and the Fate of the Tearling. And honestly, these library coverings are not my favorite, but I'm like, you know what? Bakers can't be choosers, and I'm like, these are actually not bad. Not bad condition either. Alright, so that is it. 32 minutes right now. So yeah, that's it. So that is the book haul. I think that was 45. I did not count. I think I counted a few weeks ago. Don't know if I remember it correctly. Alright, so yeah, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these or anything sound interesting. Love to hear your feedback. Yeah, so if you want to, this is my like my second video, so let me know what you think. Like, subscribe down in the comments, and yeah, so I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.